Hello and welcome to another edition of your favourite podcast, Insane in the Membrane.
Insane in the Membrane.
Welcome everybody. How are you? I hope you're well. We're coming out of it, aren't we? We're coming out of it. Well, I mean, people are acting like it's not happening anymore, but the old Pando's still around. But I don't know. Well, anyway, we're coming out of it apparently, and we see how we go. Anyway, let's get on with this, shall we? Before we begin, thank you to our wonderful Patreons, you wonderful, wonderful bunch, for helping us keep the lights on here at Membrane Towers. Without you, we wouldn't be able to do this. So thank you very much. Like we always say, it really does help us keep going. And if anyone's listening and would like to become a patron, visit our Patreon page and jump on. You're all wonderful people. Thank you so much. It really is helpful to have you there. Thank you. And thank you to all the listeners. Thank you for keeping us going. And keeping us going over 3 years. That's right, people. It's our 3rd birthday. I can't believe we've got to 3 years. 3 years already. Incredible. It seems like only yesterday I was wandering around Brixton and I was chatting to Michael Smiley and Phil Elis and all the magical people that we've had on. It's been incredible. 3 years, it's just whizzed by. And what a wonderful bunch of guests we've had. It's been marvellous. And so yeah, it's our 3rd birthday. And to celebrate, we thought we needed a special guest. We needed some people that would really help us celebrate. And what better way to celebrate our 3rd birthday than with Rhod Gilbert and his wonderful wife, Sian Harries. I mean, come on. Eh? I mean, they're two brilliant people. What better way to celebrate? I've known Rhod for a few years. We're not close mates, but we have a pint with each other. But he's one of the finest comedians in the land. And his wonderful wife, Sian, brilliant. They're both brilliant in their fields. I bumped into them. You'll hear this in the episode. Bumped into them during, I think it was like the first lockdown, when we were allowed out a little bit. And they'd gone for it. They'd gone for a walk down by the sea, down where I used to live in Leigh-on-Sea. And we bumped into him with myself and Marcus Berman. That's the first time I met Sian, and we hit it off straight away. And it's sort of like we mentioned the idea of coming on the podcast. And we'd love to. And now it's happened. And what a joy. Absolute joy. They're really lovely people. And I really want to meet up with them again and have a proper chinwag with them and maybe have a pint. It'd be lovely. They really, you'll hear it in the episode. This is one of my favourite ones. They're all brilliant. I love every episode we've done. But this one was a lot of fun. And we really got stuck in. We talked about some pretty heavy things as well, but done in a way, as we do on Membrane, in a way that is, it's heavy subjects, but we do it in a way that's quite light-hearted, and not to take away from any of those subjects, but in a way that people can sort of deal with. It was really nice. Also, do give their podcast a listen. It's called The Froth, and they've had some incredible guests as well, so do give that a listen. Wonderful people doing wonderful things. So I'm going to stop blathering and we're going to get on with it. It's coming up in a minute. It's Rhod Gilbert and Sian Harries.
A podcast from producer Paul.co.uk.
Insane in the Membrane.
Hello. Here we are. There's no big introduction. We just chat. That's it.
Oh, Christ.
That's it. Yeah.
Well, I'm going to... every 3 seconds I'm going to go, hello! Nice to see you. I can't start. That's how I know when a conversation has started, mate. Otherwise, how do you know when one begins and another one ends?
Yeah, that's a really good point.
It's a really good point. That's why it exists. That's why hello...
It punctuates life.
Yeah. There's no language on earth that doesn't have like a hello, some kind of salutation to start a conversation.
The conversation has started.
Yeah.
This is the first time this has been a problem.
Is it?
Yeah.
Well, otherwise, how do you know?
It shouldn't be a problem, should it?
How do you know?
I suppose, yeah, if you just wander up to someone and just start talking, that'd be...
Yeah.
Be weird.
Wander up to somebody mid-sentence.
There's people on the tube. I do know people who do that, though. They start talking about somebody and they assume you're meant to know who the character is, and you're like, I've never met Steve, I don't know what you're talking about. Do you know what I mean?
Now you've really confused me. So
hello!
Just in terms of,
hello, everybody.
Here we go.
Welcome
Now it started.
Insane in the Membrane.
Now it started.
Do we analyse that bit?
You know what? I've heard this podcast before. It was one with somebody, and But I listened to it all and I didn't realise it had started, so I turned it off after a while.
So we got to start hello every time you go to speak.
Yeah.
You go, hello.
Oh no! Just at the start of the
Just at the
podcast
top,
is fine.
at the
Yeah,
top.
not every paragraph.
You're right. I think I'm too busy worrying that people will, as soon as you turn around and go, right, we're started, people get nervous and they
Not us.
forget what,
No.
not you.
Not
We're
us.
fine.
You. And
If,
you-
if anything, we need it. We need the kick,
Yeah,
don't we?
we're all pros. man.
Otherwise, it's just drivel.
Pros. I've also come as you tonight. What do you think?
Yeah, you're looking great. You look spectacular.
I come as you. I knew we were doing this, so that's why we've postponed. In the past, when we've rung up and said we can't do it tonight, and we said Sian was ill or whatever, it wasn't. It was just I haven't cultivated looking exactly like you yet.
The look.
I hadn't got my beard long enough, my hair swept back long enough.
And now look at you. Now look at it. It would have
Look at
been
me.
really impressive if Sian had done it.
Oh, I'm not there yet.
She's not. I saw her fucking plucking her beard earlier, so she's never going to get
Yeah,
there at this
no.
rate.
I refuse to let myself get into that state. Sorry,
I
Rich.
was with a friend the other day, and she kept just doing that on her own chin. And like,
Yeah.
are you all right? And she just went, I don't know where they come from. And
Yeah.
it was, and they said, can you get it for me? No. I
I would do that, you see.
No, but I don't want you to do that.
I'd do that for you, Dang. I'd
Oh, thank you very
pluck
much.
your beard.
No, it's one of the few pleasures I have left. It's finding a rogue hair and taking it out. I find it so it's
You
immense.
do my fucking nose, which is really annoying.
Yeah, Rod gets nose hair.
Oh, God.
But not
Oh,
like
yeah,
out,
yeah.
not like out the nostrils, growing out of the
You're-
nose.
You're not
like
going up the nose. That's
here.
agony.
You know, like
imagine that.
I wouldn't do that.
Tweezers.
Yeah.
You're not doing. She will. I'll be watching telly or something. She will lean across and bing, yeah, like a violin string. Pluck the one. There's only one that comes out of my end. I know.
There's one.
It fucking
But it
hurts,
makes-
and
it
then I
makes you look-
sneeze. My eyes are
But it has to
watering.
come out. It makes you look like the witch from Snow White.
I don't care.
It's not
But
nice.
but those ones, like, they go from, like, not there to, like, an anglerfish. Like, all of
Yeah.
a sudden.
Yes.
And you're
Yeah.
like,
My dad's
how is
eyebrows.
that?
Where did it come from? I was in
Genetic.
I was in school, right, with Ellis James and the comedian Ellis James, and Ellis
Name
James was in
dropper.
class. We were in class once when we were about 11 years old, and I swear to God, before lunch, totally normal. After lunch, he had this long, waving in the wind, white hair growing out from his cheek. It was incredible.
Like a 5 o'clock shadow, but 11 years old with the white hair on your cheek.
Where did it come from?
My dad's eyebrows were just like absolute, weren't they? They were remarkable, weren't they? They were just.
They were like little, ants have got those things that tell them where they're going, and they can
yeah,
track
yeah.
the other ants, like that, little antennae.
He couldn't see, so he'd like cats' whiskers, so they can get through narrow gaps because they can measure with their whiskers. That's my dad was blind, so he had these massive long eyebrows. I'm sure it was so you could see. He didn't have a white stick. He had these massive eyebrows. Then when he went to a home, they started cutting them. He was furious. Do you remember
When he
that?
couldn't go anywhere.
He'd go in. He had these really short, clipped, tidy eyebrows. He looked insane.
He did look like Fuzzy Felt Farm.
Didn't look right at all.
Well, I think you get to an age where that kind of eyebrow is acceptable.
Yeah.
That's what
I'm
I
there,
want.
mate.
And
I
useful.
want to end
there.
up.
I am there.
I want to
Integral.
end up being. Yeah, I want to end up being I want to be the old guy, like in Home Alone, that people have stories about.
Yeah.
You know, in the town, you're the weird fella.
Yeah.
Oh, mate, people have got those stories about you already. That's already out about you, mate. There's loads of gossip going around green rooms about that.
Well, are we supposed to be what we're talking about? Mental health.
I don't really know what we're talking about.
Mental health is the kind of jumping off point, and it
Yeah.
kind of goes anywhere. But yeah, I mean, it's the podcast started from a conversation I had in a green room with another comic, Milo McCabe, and he said to me, he said, "How
yeah.
are you?" He actually said, "How are you?" And I answered him. Yeah,
What's
he
wrong
said,
with
"How are you?" Yeah, he didn't mention comedy or gigs, and
He said hello first. He said hello first, all right, didn't he? He didn't just launch in with "How are you?"
He just came in. How are you? And I was thrown. I'm like, are we talking
Yeah.
now? I didn't know, but
See that exactly. You see, this is where my system comes in. The old hello system.
So, Rich, did you answer with the truth? You didn't do the usual. I'm fine. It's
No.
fine. You said the
found
truth.
myself. Yeah, I said, I've been having counselling. And he
Yeah.
he looked at me odd, and he went, "Have you?" And then he started telling me about his and the fact that he studied to be a counsellor himself.
Wow.
And we had this brilliant conversation, and then I suddenly it sort of like struck me like, "Oh yeah, this is how you do that." Like they're
So
always
this
about men
podcast,
talking.
this podcast came about because Milo McCabe asked you how you were. That's it.
Yeah, basically, yeah.
That's
yeah.
lovely. So you had a genuine chat, because I think what we found this over the pandemic, haven't we? Do you remember that time we were in the street once during the pandemic?
Our podcast started because we bumped into Lloyd Langford and he went, all right. And we thought, this is a podcast, isn't this?
Oh,
We've got to do something with this.
I can feel something here. There's energy here.
Do you remember this? We were walking down the street during the pandemic when everything was kicking off, and this woman, lover, she was walking towards us. Do you remember? She had shopping bags, and she tripped, and
I don't remember.
You won't remember. She tripped and she fell. It was all dark. Like it must have been about winter time, so it was really dark. She tripped and fell, and I think she may have fallen on the floor. She nearly did, and we were like,
Oh, she landed, you mean?
yes.
That's gravity for you.
But we were like, I don't know how she did it. We were like, oh God, love, are you all right? And then she got, as you do when someone falls in front of you.
Where was this?
It was outside. It was on our street, walking past the corner shop.
Right.
And we went, God, are you all right? Because it was quite, she was obviously quite shaken. And she was like, yeah, just everything. And it was this whole honest
We had to stop her and say, no, just about the fall we're talking about. Keep it brief.
Couldn't give a shit about the mental
You want
stuff.
the whole life story.
Are you all right? Can we leave?
It's called small talk for a reason.
But
talking
you know
of
what
falls,
I
I tell you
found?
what I do remember.
But wait, can I finish it though? Right? Do you know what I found really, really interesting? What I found fascinating was that we just stayed with her until, I don't know, it was this weird unspoken, everything is mad right now, and yes, you are going through it. We know exactly what you're going through. We feel the same. And we just stood with her until she felt better, and then she went on her way. Do you remember?
I've got
You
no
don't remember?
memory of this incident at all.
But what my point is, the pandemic, I think, has opened people up to actually being very honest about what they're feeling. And you're not going, oh yeah, I'm fine. You're going, actually, no, it's all a bit much, isn't it? And we've been having conversations with strangers about
I'm
things
stop
like
asking people.
mental health. I find it fascinating.
Yeah, it's
suppose
true.
you're
People are. I think because we're all going through it together.
Yeah.
We're all. I've met a few people where they've gone, no, I'm fine. I'm having a great time.
Are we all in it together, Rich? Are we?
People in our little world, we
Yeah.
are.
Yeah.
But there are some psychopaths out there that are just going, no,
Yeah.
I'm fine, never been better, and you're like, really? It must be affected, like the fact that the so-called leaders don't know what the fuck they're doing,
Yeah.
and so there's a feeling, there's a real feeling of hopelessness and feeling lost.
Yeah.
And you're doing all right, are you? You're the chick.
I had toothache for the first 2 months of this pandemic.
Yeah.
And then,
2 months.
yeah, a day after they announced the first lockdown, so March 2020,
Yeah.
next day, I woke up with toothache, right? Proper, like, oh my God. What? There's no dentist
Horrible.
open, nothing. No dentist, no dentist open, nothing. I rang pretty much every dentist in the UK. No PPE, can't do it, no gas, no
horrendous.
drills, can't do it. I was in agony. In the end, a very kind neighbour of mine, their dentist, pushed some antibiotics through my letterbox. And that sort of sorted me out for a bit. But basically, every dentist I was talking to was going, you're just going to have to wait in agony until the dentist's open again. This was the weird thing, is that it was obviously agony and stuff. And then when dentists, but then it just disappeared. Because dentists were saying to me, it's not going to go anywhere. A rotten tooth is a rotten tooth. That's not going anywhere. You're just going to have that out when we can do it. When will that be? I don't know. And in the end, didn't it? I haven't been able to see anyone. It just went.
It just
and
went.
I reckon it was stress and anxiety.
Yeah,
I honestly,
stress, yeah.
I honestly think it was that. It was
But
nothing more than that. There's nothing wrong with my tooth.
I know a lot of men who had toothache. Our friend Tids had toothache. I think a lot of men went through that thing of, oh my God, agony.
They're jumping on my toothache bandwagon.
You're a pioneer.
Do you know what was worse though than your toothache, Lovey? It was
Nothing
because
was worse than my
no, it was me saying to you, I told you to go to the dentist. I told you, didn't I? I told, like, honestly, for 2 months because
How long have I been telling you to go
I
to the
have been
dentist?
telling you for over a
In fact,
year.
I don't think it was the pandemic. I think it was your fucking nagging.
me.
That's the only reason I had
It was
toothache.
really like, and you
Nothing to do with the pandemic.
And
Oh my God.
even the tooth went, fuck this, and then sorted itself out.
Exactly. Nothing wrong with it though. Absolutely nothing wrong with it.
Weird.
Which is kind of it. So it was
So
just.
weird.
I'm pretty sure it was just psychosomatic stress,
It does
anxiety.
happen.
So all these people, we've got them in our life, who, yes, I think they go, I feel a bit guilty, but I'm fine, I'm doing all right. And I'm like, yeah, how are you not stressed and anxious to shit? I was
But
so
they are
anxious.
feeling guilt, so that's like...
At least they're feeling a bit guilty.
And it'll come out in ways that you don't even expect it. What happened to... When the pandemic first kicked off, this is weird, I felt like everything slowed down.
I know why we're probably talking about this is because we met you in bloody...
Yes.
Then we can get on to that.
And that's the first time I met you. Exactly. That was the first time I met you. When the pandemic first started, I felt like time for me slowed. I felt like, I don't know whether it's a mini breakdown or something, but I felt like time fell down and I couldn't read. I couldn't read anymore. And usually, ever since I was a kid, whenever I feel like stressed or, anxious, I read, and that's my way of getting out of it. I just couldn't do it. The only thing I could do was colouring in.
Oh, fine.
So
she
weird.
wasn't very good at that.
Rubbish.
took away the adult ones, gave you back the children's one. Yeah, you
did doing colouring in, didn't you?
bigger
It
spaces,
would be- But Rich, we'd be watching TV and I wouldn't be able to follow stuff. And I'd hold up like a thing that I'd coloured in to Rhod and go, what do you think of this, darling? And he'd go, yeah, very, very good.
Well done. It didn't mark it for you.
Exactly.
We'd been months in lockdown and when we saw you, weren't we? Because that was about the first time. We were locked down in London for the first 3 months and that was in June, wasn't it, or something? We saw you or something like that. Yeah. And I can remember that we went, it was the first day we could travel anywhere.
That's right.
We've got to see the sea. We've got to see the sea. That's the only thing that matters. We've got to get to the sea. And then we went, finger on the... Where can we go? Right, Southend. I know there's sea there. So we went there. Had fish and chips on there. We were only there for about 2 hours. Bumped into you and Marcus Birdman, didn't we?
It was lovely.
It was like a fortnight holiday. Honestly, it was like, oh my God.
It felt like in the olden days when farmers had 1 day off a year and they went to the nearest sea and then they just had the best holiday. That's how it felt,
It was
didn't
about
it?
2 hours we were there because we couldn't stay overnight or anything. So it was like, we went back, but oh my God.
I flew a kite.
Amazing.
You saw me. I flew a kite.
Yeah, I remember,
flew a kite.
That's where I was. I'd reverted to childhood.
And we didn't really get the best bit of Southend. We were down the bit by, unfortunately, I mean, this puts it in perspective in a pandemic. We were down by all the homeless hostels and stuff down that far end, where most of the people are kind of, drunk and on the streets and homeless hostels and all that kind of stuff. And you were in the middle of them flying a kite, which was a bit insensitive.
Yeah, it was very insensitive. It was very insensitive.
I'm doing fine.
Yeah, I was one of those pricks. Hey, what's wrong with you? Give this a go, love.
Yeah. Forget about your troubles. Fly a kite, mate. That's what's going on with you. I found it. It's funny with that, with the all of that. When I found that when we were meeting, like we bumped into you, and I remember coming away and going, "Oh my God, I forgot how to converse with people."
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? I was pleased to see you.
Luckily, I've put you back on track tonight, haven't I? So
I kept making. I didn't say hello to you, did I? Just wandered up.
Luckily now you should be back on track now.
Yeah, I'm good. It's good that hello bit is good. I'm going to say hello to everyone from now on.
Hello.
Hello. Yeah. All right, mate. Whilst flying a kite and colouring in.
But yeah, you're right. The conversation. We had friends to stay. I keep saying it. You're not as bothered. I don't
never
think.
any good at it. Doesn't matter.
I'm getting incredibly anxious about what to say to people and what isn't relevant and what is relevant or what's appropriate or what is. You know what I mean? What's entertaining?
Same. Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
So weird.
It's going to be great, this podcast, then, isn't it? Two people who've lost the art of conversation a year ago.
Yeah. All right, thanks for coming. Goodbye.
We went to an incredible party, our friend's 40th party. That's the only thing we've been to pretty much. And it was outdoors. We had a silent disco outside. It was incredible. But I was having such a wonderful time that every hour or so I had to go and have a lie down because my body wasn't used to it. My body was going, that's enough. Let's go and have a lie down. I hadn't had that much. I get so high off other people. But I wasn't trained in it anymore. Like you said, you kind of overshare as well. You go too far the other way. And I've been telling people stuff and they're just looking at me like, what are you saying? And I'm like, in my head, I'm like, why am I telling you this? Yeah. And I just, and then I can't wait to get away from that person. Yeah, definitely. No disrespect to them. No, none. Yeah, I know what you mean. Yeah, it's weird, isn't it? It is a skill, I think, that we all took for granted. That thing of, oh, no, I won't say that. That kind of, and we lost it because we were on our own.
How have you found it, the two of you locked in together?
Oh, God.
Oh, God.
Because with the bet, you love each other, of course you do, but...
God.
Oh, I don't know, Rich.
I mean, it's... Isn't it? I don't know. I mean, no, the first 2 months
all right, actually, I think.
were hell because Rhod had toothache.
Not all right. Yeah.
Rhod had toothache, and I had told him to go to the dentist.
Yeah. That was the first 2 months. Me
That was the first 2 months.
No, going, I told you you should have gone to the
And
that was it for 2 months.
Colouring in the corner.
Then it was something.
Then we went to Southend. That was great. We started a podcast. That was
It's been
fun.
up and down, hasn't it? It's been up and down.
It's really tough for us because I don't know if you know this, Rich, but like we've been doing IVF. We've had to shield quite a bit because if you do IVF,
That all stopped during the pandemic for a while.
for the first bit, didn't it?
First
They
year or
cancelled
whatever,
everything.
something like that, yeah.
But now, because
yeah.
if you're doing IVF, you can't catch COVID. Otherwise, they'll cancel it, and you'll still have to pay. So it's really
What?
high. I know it's really high stakes. So we've had to be quite careful. We can only meet people outside. You know, we have to be quite strict. And that, I think, is quite stressful, isn't it?
It's been doing your head in that everybody's got their own take on it and everybody's got their own angle. You know, some people are more risk averse and some people are more get on with it than others. It does your head in that not everybody is behaving consistently.
Yes.
I don't know why
Yeah.
I managed to accept that.
I really like having a rule, and you either decide to break it or not, but there's one rule, and that's it. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Rather than, make up your own mind. Because it's so much admin, just having to check in with people. How are you what do you think about the rules? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's
And
weird.
it's also with you're doing IVF, and I've seen some of your tweets as well, Sean, and you talk about other health issues, and that must be stressful as well. You're having to deal with that too.
Yeah.
And you know, and then idiots not adhering to the rules, and
Yeah.
it must be
Yeah. It's hard,
so
isn't
stressful.
it?
Yeah,
Well, it's hard because you feel like you feel like a control
I haven't
thing.
found that bit hard, I have to say.
What?
Well, it's always freaking you out that not everybody is thinking exactly the same way, and that doesn't freak me out.
But if it affects your health, so you know what I mean. If somebody has had a huge disability, and then you have to find out what people's attitudes are to a particular policy, it's so much admin, isn't it? It's like drunk driving. If some people are into it and some people aren't into it, you need to know who's into it and who's not if you don't want to be involved in it. Do you know what I mean?
Interesting analogy.
Wow. Wow. Or wearing a seatbelt.
you're in the countryside, so everyone drink drives. So that's
Yeah, that's true.
Hey.
actually.
they're all into it.
Yeah, that's true.
Hey, don't you go casting aspersions? We are in the countryside, mind. I mean, look at me. You can tell that. It's nice, though. I love it. I love it. I'm ready to
It's
move
very
here. Sean's
relaxing.
not. Bottom line. There we are.
No.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
No, I need people.
We've got a little small hold in here now, which I can just potter non-stop. I'm a potterer. I can potter relentlessly, morning, noon and night, from the moment I wake up to the moment I go to sleep. Pottering
Around. That's the age you're at now. That's what we do, isn't it? We just potter.
Yeah, I can't do anything. I've got no skills, so I can't actually do anything at all.
You can.
Sean bought me a drill set, tool set, and everything like that for Christmas, so I can start. Well, there's a lamp on top of it at the moment. That's all it's being used for.
Yeah. You drilled something. Oh, no, you didn't drill
I
something.
haven't drilled anything.
What did you do the other day that was quite impressive?
Oh, I unscrewed a screw.
Oh, yeah. He unscrewed a screw, and it was really impressed.
It was my first one. I was quite happy. I came running in, didn't I?
Yeah, no.
I came running in.
And then showed me the screw he'd unscrewed.
I was pretty chuffed that
It was
day.
really impressive.
It
It
was.
was impressive.
It's my first bit of DIY.
No, your first bit of DIY was about 10 years ago, where you took 2 steps up a stepladder with a paintbrush and the stepladder collapsed. And then you went, right, that's it, never doing that again.
Well, here we are. It's my second attempt. 10
Yep.
years later, I'm ready to give it another go.
Well done, darling.
Yeah. That hasn't put me off.
There's just this assumption that for a lot of men, there's just this assumption that we just know how to do stuff. Men of a certain age, they've just been, and most of us don't know what the fuck
No.
we're doing.
I've got no patience either. I've got literally 0% patience. I can't.
So you've got to be able to do it immediately.
I'm potter. I just potter. I can't. So I just I'm busy, non-stop busy here. But I haven't done anything that needed doing.
But it will be
9
something
months.
like he's moved a bucket from that shed to that shed.
Yeah, moved all the buckets
and
from
that
one
looks
shed to
better
another.
now. That bucket looks better there, and that's where it lives now. And then, you know what I mean? And then he'll tell me about the bucket and what he's going to do tomorrow with the bucket.
I've washed buildings a lot.
Yeah, he's washed buildings.
Yeah. Literally washing buildings.
In a country where it rains every day.
I can't do anything. That's the problem. If you haven't got any skill whatsoever, what do you do on a small holding? I'm nothing. There's nothing I can do except just wash down a building.
Nah.
Literally with a hose. Just
create,
washing it down like somebody
you
cleaning a
could
car
create
but with a hose.
personalities for the little sheep in the field
No,
and
it's not useful. That
give them names.
There was a dead sheep the other day in the field that upset me.
Oh, yeah. And a
Oh,
squirrel.
no.
And a squirrel with his back legs out. Oh, that really got to me that day. That was about 3 days that upset me.
We're having to face up to some horrible truths
Life
about
in the
life.
country is savage.
Yeah.
So, but this is it. And the thing is, we are fundamentally animals ourselves. Really,
No.
That's why we feel like we don't fit into this because
We
we're supposed
can't
to
be,
be just
Rich.
running around.
Where'd you get that from?
Running around in the
Where'd you
woods.
get that
That's
from?
what we should be doing.
You've gone down a wormhole on Facebook, mate. We're all animals. What are you talking about? What are you talking about?
We should just be out fighting and fucking and.
Oh, we are doing that as well. Have you been to the countryside?
I haven't got time for that, mate. I've got buildings to wash. I've got a garage to wash down.
This garage won't wash itself.
No, it probably would. It rains so much here.
That's
Nobody
the
else
point.
is washing garages.
It
down there, I have to
rains
say.
every day. There's no need for it.
I have to wait for a dry bit so I can go out and wash the building down. So all I've done, you confront the idea that you can't do anything, that you've got no skills. So all you can do is move stuff from A to B, so move logs from one place to another, stuff like that, and hose down a building. There's nothing else I don't. And I've unscrewed that screw. That's it. 9 months. Would be.
Oh, mate. But this is the thing. I've gone now. Oh, God.
Because my problem is I've got to keep moving. It's the ADHD thing. I've got to keep doing stuff, but I can't do anything. So I'm in this dilemma constantly, but I have to keep moving like a shark.
Yeah.
But I can't do anything. Nothing. So
Did you find you start one job and then suddenly you're like going to do another job halfway through and then
Constantly.
and then you end up doing nothing, just going round and round.
yeah. The number. How many cups? Half-made cups of tea? How many have I thrown away today?
Yeah, we can't.
15.
We can't make a cup of
15
tea.
cups of tea.
Honestly.
that I've started. Tea bag, water in, and then come back. Oh, for fuck's sake.
I do that all the time.
Yeah, constant,
mad.
absolutely constant.
There's like 7 cups just lined up, isn't there, by the kettle?
Just constant.
7 cups,
Just a constant-
all at different
constant
stages
process.
of being ready. And you touch them and go, that one's warm, that one's cold, that one's...
This is a hot chocolate here by the kettle that I started making, I'd say 6 hours ago.
Ends up like Goldilocks and the Three Bears. Yeah, this one's
Yeah.
this one's this. This one's
Absolutely,
that.
this one's cold.
Yeah, absolutely. This one's got milk in, but it's gone cold. This one's just a mug. It's just a mug at the moment, that one is.
Yeah.
I was particularly distracted at that point. Just got the mug out and then just fucked it off.
Hey, talking of distracted, I'm going to have to go to the toilet. I'll come back now.
Yeah, go on,
Carry
then, mate.
Okay.
We'll carry on. We'll carry on.
Don't pause on my account. This happens a lot.
That's the age we're at now, isn't it?
Yeah. I'm going, yeah.
Yeah. But do you find you were talking about the fertility treatment? I know quite a few people that are doing that as well, and it's so stressful.
Yes.
You're having to manage everything, and you talk about endometriosis and things, and that. How are you finding all that? How are you finding it? The whole thing must be just
Let's think. The IVF thing, I just got my head around the endometriosis thing because I manage my time. So I go to bed 3 days every month and I work from bed, and I also save up things like box sets and things to watch. So I've kind of managed that. But with the IVF on top of it, where you have to inject drugs every day that make you go mad,
Really?
they give you brain fog, and they just make you feel a bit, especially towards the end of the cycle, you're just pumped full of drugs that you're not supposed to be like a teenager again. Do you know what I mean? Like that kind of wired, and you're not allowed in the usual times. You'd go out and have a cup of tea with your mates, or let off some steam, but you can't at the moment. That's what's weird. You can't even distract yourself. You just have to stay in the house with the person who's injecting you. Do you know what I mean? It's quite intense.
Yeah,
so intense.
And
Yeah.
the thing is, with that, I'd only heard of endometriosis like in the sort of mid-90s. There was a person I was seeing, and she was the first person I'd ever heard talk about it. And that was like, that's 20 odd years ago. It's only now that people are starting to really talk about it. It's quite,
Yeah.
there's still so much to
absolutely.
learn. And it's, and
Definitely
it seems more rife than you realise. More people have it than you realise.
Endometriosis. I mean, so many women have it and they don't know they have it. They just think they have painful
really?
periods. Yeah, they just think periods are meant to be painful. And, and it was really shocking when I found out that periods aren't supposed to be painful. They're not.
They are a bit, aren't they?
No.
Not at all.
I thought, yeah.
No pain.
I think you're supposed to have like maybe a bit of discomfort.
Because that would
the
suggest that
first
anybody with
day.
period pain's got endometriosis.
I think anyone
That's not right.
with period pains has got some that need to be looked at.
So there are people out there that don't. How many people out there don't have any pain with periods?
Loads.
Do they?
I've got friends who are like don't even notice when it arrives.
Yeah, that's the thing. As a man, you just go.
It's
when you're a
weird.
teenager, you're just aware somehow of periods, and that, part of that awareness is tampons and things, but it's also painkillers and period pain. That word, period pain, and
Yeah, but I also think
yeah.
I also think a lot of us use it to get out of sport. I did. I was just like, no, I'm just having my period. And I'd use it all the time.
I would have used it all the time.
Yeah, and it's
All
really
the time I would have.
it's really easy
I did a fair bit.
to tell a male it's really easy to really scare a male teacher by going periods and they're like, yeah, don't want to know. It's like, fine,
Ow,
yeah,
ow, yeah.
disgusting. So then you just go downtown.
It's true, actually. That.
Isn't
Go
it?
downtown shoplifting. Yeah.
Oh yeah, totally. That'll ease things a bit, wouldn't it?
You can blame that on it as well. You can blame that on the period as well, can you?
Totally. I don't know what came over me. I really needed this makeup.
Yeah.
I just wasn't thinking.
Sorry,
I just
period.
wandered out of the shop with it. Yeah. Oh.
You know what women are like.
But I didn't realise it's a whole. It's not just that when you're on your period. It's the whole. You're just on a complete cycle constantly,
Yeah.
all the time.
Yeah.
What did you think it was, Rich?
I just kind of thought, like, you had all of a sudden at the end of the month that your body went, we need to get rid of this, and then that was it.
Yeah.
It didn't occur to me. I mean, it's called a cycle for a reason, but I didn't match the
Yeah,
word
but
up.
Rich, I didn't even know that. So many women don't even know that because it's weird. We kind of disassociate with it because it's so, A, it's a bit boring. B, you only start looking into it when you try for a kid.
Boys
really.
generally don't even know it in school. You don't even know what it is, really, do you?
We never get told, no.
No, you never get.
What,
not in
a
our day,
women's
anyway.
thing?
Yeah.
Well, girls don't either.
No, I suppose, do they?
We were taken into a room by the teacher, and then they talk about whilst all the boys were outside, like doing shapes on the window and like doing moonies and stuff. And they're like, "Woo, they're talking about periods."
Is that Elis? Is it? Is
All
that
of
Elis
them.
James?
Yeah, Elis James. And I'm
Sounds
naming
like Elis
names.
James.
It does,
Yeah,
doesn't it?
it does,
But all the boys
He still
are
does
outside.
that when you have your period. He still comes down here and moons through the window.
I lived with him for 10 years. He does. He's every month.
He's
every
got,
month
he's got the app on his phone that he knows when you're on your period.
Clue.
That's what happened. You were in sync, weren't you?
Yeah,
That's what happened. Every
I
time
was
you had a
in sync.
period, he'd pull his trousers down.
It's like one of those clocks where I come out with my period and he comes out the other side and does a move.
It got so bad. You were in sync with his bum and the moon rather than the moon.
The moon cycle. This is brilliant.
Oh my god!
I don't know how he's going to live all this down.
Yeah. Oh wow.
Poor Al.
Al.
Poor Al. He's the one who did it.
Yeah, but it's a bit of light relief. It's a bit of, I used to look forward to seeing Alice's bum at the end of the month.
I think I've seen Alice's bum. Actually.
He's got a great bum.
Yeah, he's got a good.
He's got a good.
He has got a
peach
surprisingly good bum. Yeah,
he
yes,
has.
yeah.
I've
I remember that.
I've never seen his bum, but I remember that the first time I ever met him, we were at
It's at
Cardiff.
the top of his legs, just below his back.
Hang on, let me get a pen. Right then.
If you get a picture of him up on Google, and I'll point it out to you if you want. Here's my editing program.
There it is.
There it is. Yeah. He's got very short legs, actually, Alice James, and a long torso. Or is it the other way around?
I'm not sure. He's got powerful legs.
Powerful.
With a big
Sort of like a centaur.
lady's
isn't it?
bum.
Yeah,
It's a
centaur with
good
a lady.
bum.
If you don't know who Alice James is, he's a powerfully legged Welsh comedian with a lady's bum.
Ladies posterior.
Yeah, who moons
looks
at
like
people
one-
until their periods are in sync.
That's how you know you've got your period, because Elis has got his arse out.
When did you see him going for his belt, you think, oh God, my period's coming.
He's constantly surrounded. He's constantly surrounded by women freaking out they may be pregnant because Elis is here with his bum.
Oh no, Elis is here. Shit.
Oh no, hang on, Elis. Hang on. I don't even understand my own cycle. So when Elle turns up with his bum, you're all right.
Yeah, exactly. I was going to say.
Yeah.
I didn't
Elis
like
is here. Elis is here with his bum.
I didn't like to interrupt you there with your logic, but I thought you got it wrong.
But even women don't understand like the cycle. It's really confusing.
Yeah, I mean,
so if you don't see Elis, you know that something's up.
Just Elis in the gate. Hello.
Yeah. That's how you know you're pregnant. You're not pregnant. I mean, you're not pregnant. Oh Christ, I'm getting confused.
That face you get on the test is Elis's bum. Basically.
If you see Elis, you're not pregnant. That's
yeah. The pregnancy test, they've got a smiley face at one end and Elis's bum at the other end.
If you see Elis, you're not pregnant. Make of that what you will.
Oh, well, we've got a quote for the advertising now.
Poor Al, I'm going to have to warn him.
Oh, we're going to definitely tag him in.
Yeah, I'll definitely tag him, this bastard.
I met him at, I think it was, we did a gig at Cardiff Uni. We'd never seen each other before, but we were both a bit more mod then. So we both had Fred Perry's on and an Oasis haircut.
Yeah.
And we kept looking at each other across the room. Didn't know that we were both comedians.
That's funny.
And then when we were introduced to each other by Silky, the promoter, and he just went, oh, this is Elis, this is Rich. And we were like, yeah,
hiya,
I'm
mate.
over there looking, you look cool, mate. You look cool.
I
he got his
love
arse
that.
out.
Yeah. You can't help it.
You can't help
Can't
it.
help it. Oh, at least I know I didn't have my period that day. I had my period that day. See, I'm fucking it up now.
Yeah. It's very difficult.
Yeah. Ah.
Difficult system.
Imagine all this, but IVF. You're in the IVF office going, I don't understand. I don't know what the fuck are you talking about.
Yeah. And that,
it is that complicated.
and you do all the things. It must be stressful when you do all the things that you're supposed to be doing, and you're still waiting for them to say yes, you're pregnant. You're ready to go. And then when you are pregnant, you've got the stress of, because I know people that have done it and they've, unfortunately, it's not been successful, and and then on top of that, the world's on fire.
Yeah. So part of you is going, I'm not even sure why we're doing that. Why would you bring something into this? Because it's not this kind of idyllic. Do you know what I mean? You do question things. You do kind of go,
I mean,
what's
the world
going
is
on?
going to hell. I mean, this is
why not make some company to go to hell with you.
Yes.
Oh, this is what we have this conversation with people who are going, I'm not sure if we should. I mean, God, we've been trying for years. I'm not sure. We've probably never happen anyway. But we have these conversations where we're going. I always go. I say, are you sure you want to try and bring a kid into this fucking shit show?
Yeah.
And Sean's like, yeah, because maybe they can change the world. Talk about putting pressure on a kid, isn't it? Right, you quick, get your nappy on and sort this shit out.
We've done all we could. We've done all we could.
Yeah, I'll start you off on
fire.
fascism, climate change,
It's
and the rise of the
absolutely
far
on fire.
right.
But you need to grow up, get out there.
Well, what are you going to do, Dad? I'm going to be jet washing the garage. You just carry on with.
Exactly.
I've got to build it a what?
No, it is a bit of
down.
pressure. It is a bit of pressure. I just think maybe we could create people who are kind, and we need more
Look
of
at the pressure on that.
Well, just be kind.
It's too much pressure to put on a kid, isn't it?
It's not.
You've got to save the world.
No, not save the world. Just be kind. Don't be a dick.
As soon as he comes out, he'll be there with a Superman outfit. Right, get this on. Got you.
No, you'll be there. You'll hose him. You'll hose him down.
You will
straight into
down.
the super.
Oh, I will actually.
Oh, cariad. Yeah, it is. It is an odd.
2022. I'm going to try a bit of DIY.
It does make you think, doesn't it?
What?
Well, what are we doing? What is everyone doing?
Well, I mean, yeah.
It's crazy.
The world is.
But then this is
shit.
It is about. This is the thing. This is now the most catastrophic thing that's happened in a good many years.
Yeah, we coasted along, didn't we? Us generation
we did.
X, is it? We are, and the boomers and stuff. They've all coasted along.
Yeah. It took so long to convince my parents that there was something wrong. It took so long. They were like, no, it's not. It's fine. It's just London. They're making a fuss. And I was going, it's not just London. It is global, and it's happening. Yeah. And I think it's because they'd never seen anything in their entire... And they've had a good chunk of time with nothing bad.
Yeah, if you come from a certain part of the world, certain demographic, you have had it a pretty good 70 years.
Free education.
Yeah. And now we've got this.
Wham!
Right
Somebody lays the biggest turd you've ever seen.
But then fucks off. Like they do the dump, and then just we have to cope with it.
Yeah.
And what I like is that Wales are so much more stringent than we've been over in England. Over here, they're just like...
Oh, don't get Sian started on the inconsistency of the rules, for God's sake. Please, don't. Can't go.
Well, now they're doing that thing. They're just going, yeah, well, we're just going to see what happens. Whereas in Wales, they're like, no one's coming in, no one's going out.
Because we've been going back and forth between England and Wales, obviously. That's another thing that's been adding to it, is the whole...
Oh, please. I can't do this again.
Just not knowing what the rules are.
I know you don't know what the rules are. I know it's doing your head in.
You know what I mean? I find it difficult.
Just accept it.
I find it really difficult to ask somebody over... Oh, it's just hard. I find it really difficult to have boundaries. I'm telling Rich. I'm not telling... You know what I mean? I find it really difficult.
You need a piss now, Rhod.
I might go for another one.
To have any boundaries, basically. So I find it
this hot chocolate.
Really... why didn't you make that hot chocolate?
I might make this hot chocolate I've been thinking about for the last 6...
Yes. So that's where I'm coming from.
Sorry, go on.
Well, I've done it now.
Yeah.
You've done it now?
Yeah. I find it really difficult to get my point across. That's my problem. And don't know why.
No, go on, finish it. Go on.
I find it difficult to have boundaries. So when it comes to things like asking people to do certain things, I find that really, really tough. So I find it much easier when an authority says that that's the rule, if you know what I mean. So I can hide behind that. I find it really hard to say, like if someone comes into your house and they've got mucky boots on, I'd find it really difficult to say, can you take your shoes off? Do you know what I mean?
Tramping through.
Yeah, I'd be like, oh, it's fine, I'll just
hoover.
hoover.
What are you going to say if they come in without a mask or something, not mucky boots? But the worst thing about this pandemic is when somebody comes in your house with mucky boots, because some people are really fine about it. Some people think you shouldn't be allowed to have mucky boots. In Wales, you're not allowed to have mucky boots. England, you are.
You know what I mean.
So confusing, isn't it?
It is confusing. It is confusing. Yeah.
But I know what you mean. I do that. People look, they come in and then I find it difficult to turn around and go, could you not put your mucky boots on the coffee table? I'd let them do it. Just let them.
Me too.
I'm quite good at it, I think. I'm quite good at going... I don't mind saying to people, I'm still... Like I went to sea swimming with a mate yesterday, and he invited me over to say, I'm still on outside. So I just stood in the garden and they were inside, and I just shouted to them.
Yes, but you know that they are similar...
I didn't really know. I've only met him twice.
Okay, yeah, that's true.
No, I didn't, and I've never met his wife or his kid. So
maybe you are good at it.
But I suspected they would not be the type of people to get angry about it.
Yeah. See, when you met with anger, I'm like, oh my god.
Yeah. No, I never suspected they would go, ooh, look at him. Look at him with his mucky boots.
Stay out there with your mucky boots. We don't have
mucky boot Monday. Your mandatory mucky boot Monday.
Never mind your mask. Mucky boots, mate.
Mucky boots.
Yeah. But I bumped into... Well, I did Edinburgh last year, and I bumped into someone that I hadn't seen for a while. I just forgot. I was just pleased to see him. And I went to go, mate. And I went to hug, and then they were like, hey, whoa. I got really narky about it.
Did they? They go, whoa. I went,
back off, pal. Sorry. Yeah, you haven't even said hello.
Yeah. Who was it?
I'm not going to say who. It was a comedian. Yeah, it was a comedian, and they were just so annoyed that I'd gone to, and I just went, oh yeah, sorry.
Oh.
Yeah. And
was it to do with the pandemic, or was it just you?
Was it the paedophile rumours?
They heard the stories.
Yeah, exactly.
Elis was next to me with his arse out. It was chaos. And mucky
But
boots
that-
on. It was terrible.
That's such a sad situation, though, isn't it? You just wanted to hug somebody,
Yeah.
and they just have a health concern. You know what I mean? It's such
don't
a
get
sad...
back on this again about people being inconsistent.
No, I'm not. I'm just saying.
You
how
are. You're trying to
sad-
get us back
how
on the fact that people are
sadly,
different. You're trying to wrangle it back round. I can feel
I'm
it.
saying how sad the situation is because no party there is in the wrong. That's what's
It was.
No.
that's what's
Rich
difficult.
was in the wrong.
No,
I
you
should
wanted,
stop
bloody-
touching people.
you wanted a
Super
cuddle.
spreader there. He was in the wrong.
He was, but you wanted a cuddle, and it's human to forget about a
Yeah,
massive
I just
global
forgot.
pandemic.
I was pleased to see
Human
it.
to forget about a massive global pandemic. It is.
But it is.
It is easily done. We should talk about it more. There's not enough about it. It's never in the news. Why did they cover it in the news? Why did they do it on that?
Do you not want to talk about the pandemic anymore?
I can't.
Are you one of those people who's like, if I don't look at it,
No.
it's not there?
I tell you what I can't cope with is one more after 587 days of you not being able to cope with people being people being different. That's what I can't cope with.
Yeah, yeah.
But how did you mentioned your ADHD, Rod, and a lot of people are now.
What is
being
this podcast
diagnosed with
about again? What is this podcast about?
It's
Mental health, you said. Jumping
It's
off on
about
mental health. Yeah.
coping.
Is it?
coping, basically. What people
it?
want to hear is how you've coped with certain things. That's what people
Yeah.
like. The fact that when other people talk about things that they've coped with, they go, "Oh, good, that's what I'm dealing with." Now there's a comfort knowing I'm not the only one. Weirdly, you know what I mean?
You
It's,
just want us to come on here and just make people feel better?
Yeah, that's not going to happen.
I know that goes against your brand, Rod. I know that.
I know,
Hey.
exactly.
How have we coped with certain things? What things?
Oh my god!
No,
right.
what things? What things are we talking about?
I'm not allowed to say it.
You could say it.
Clearly.
What?
The pandemic?
Oh, no, not the pandemic again. Please now.
Okay. Life in 2020.
Oh, mate, you mentioned your
What
ADHD.
things are we talking
Rod.
about?
Yeah. You mentioned.
People want to know about how we cope with certain things. What things?
Yeah.
It's different answers to different. How do I cope with that hot chocolate? I'll just fucking sort it out later.
But did you know there was?
That's
did
not
you
the answer
know-
to everything.
A couple of friends of mine, they've been diagnosed. They've got ADHD, and then they just immediately better that someone had said, "Yeah, that's what that is." They were,
Yeah.
yeah, that's why you keep wandering off and not actually getting anything finished. Just- you've got that.
Talking over people. And...
That's why I've had to put you on a lead.
Stop hosing down the garage. And just,
That's why I hose down the guys. I have to keep moving. Keep moving
Yeah.
non-stop, don't I?
Yeah.
But I can't do anything, as we've covered this.
so you just keep wandering around.
What
yeah.
What was the question? What did you say again?
It's just
the
when you've got-
diagnosis. The diagnosis. Yeah.
Did
Yeah.
it make you feel better?
Yeah, it did. Mine was hilarious. My diagnosis was televised. I mean, it was, but we had to cut. It was so funny. We had to cut some of it out of the program. I did this documentary on shyness, right? And
Yeah, that's
social
right,
anxiety, and we were trying to. And shyness is such a vague word, so we were trying to make sense of it a bit. So I went to see this neuroscientist, and we're doing all these tests all day and all this different stuff, and I don't know, like psychographics or whatever it was, and. Brain scans and all this kind of. I had a mini stroke a few years ago. It was all the same tests as that, basically.
no.
But we were looking for.
Yeah, we didn't know it was a mini stroke
Oh wow!
until much later.
Don't get me distracted onto that now.
Okay,
Quick,
sorry.
hang on a minute. We're talking about. Anyway, same sort of tests as the mini stroke thing.
Yeah.
But they're doing it to see if you can see shyness, basically, or social anxiety, whatever you want to call it. See if you can see the parts of the brain that. So I got this at one point. I think it was an EEG machine at this point, particular thing. And I've got this thing on this swimming cap, like all these pads and this activity, my brain activities. I talk about this in my stand-up show, right? What I'm doing now. So my activity is going around there, and I said, "So can you see that I'm shy from looking at that?" And he went, "No, I can't." He said, "If you were anxious now, I could probably see the brain lighting up different parts of activity and stuff, but I can't see that. You're not anxious, and I can't tell if you're an anxious type of person by looking at the brain." So I sort of turned to the camera and I went, "Oh, so there we go. You can't see shyness on the brain by looking at the physicality of the brain, the neurons, whatever it is, lighting up there." And on camera, he went, "Yeah, I don't know if you want to get this on camera, but I can tell you got ADHD and you're possibly dyslexic." And I was like, on camera, so what the fuck? I was like, "I only popped in for shyness. What the fuck are you talking about? I'm a bit shy, that's all. What are you on about?"
Popped in for a shoe shine. Now I'm having me. I've got me.
That's exactly what happened. We kept some of it in. We cut the dyslexic bit out.
I didn't know you were dyslexic. I didn't see that bit.
I don't think it's as simple as that with the dyslexia. But anyway, that's another story. But we cut that bit out of the documentary because it was too funny. It was almost like it was a comedy moment now in the documentary when I'm looking at the camera going. But yeah, so he explained it all to me, and he said it's ADD described it. It's not ADHD. He said it's a subtype. All this different stuff, and he showed me the parts of the brain. There was a bit of the part of the brain that's reduced in size or something. All these bits that go active when they're not supposed to, and bits that don't go active when they are supposed to, and all this kind of stuff. And it did feel good, didn't it?
What?
It did feel good when I had that.
Yeah.
It did feel good when I had that, because I've always thought I was just stupid.
Right, yeah.
And that's not to say I'm not stupid. Of course, they're not mutually exclusive. But it was nice that there's not just
you're
that,
not
if you are.
stupid because of that, basically, isn't it? Like you're
yeah. I might
just stupid anyway.
I might be.
There's
stupid.
other stuff.
I might be stupid, but
I don't think you're stupid.
But there's other stuff going on.
Yeah.
So that was because when you can't follow anything, you can't remember anything, you can't read a book because you can't remember the thing you tried. All my life, I've managed it with techniques, my own homemade remedies, all my life to try and. Keep my brain under control. So you see, I've always, since I was a kid, described my brain, even to my parents and stuff. But nobody did anything back then in the 70s and 80s. No. I've always described it as a dropped hose, haven't I? For years, I've always said my brain's like a drop. You know when you drop a hose and it's just squirting, especially when you wash it down a building. You've just rinsed off most of the rain, and then you drop the hose and it starts swirling around like a snake with a life of its own. You're trying to stand on it to stop it. That's what my brain feels like 24/7. And that's how I've always described it. So I can't remember why I started this point now.
Whether you felt good after the diagnosis.
Yeah. And the fact you were talking about being stupid, like you thought you were.
Oh yeah. So that feeling that you can't follow anything, you can't follow a film, you can't remember a book. You know, I've tried Catcher in the Rye. I once read it 6 times back to back. As soon as I finished, I started again. I couldn't tell you anything about it except the guy's name, and that's it. So you feel stupid because people are saying, "What do you think about this?" I don't know. I can't have an opinion on it because I can't join the dots. So the whole world looks like on a starry night, there's just an explosion of billions of stars up there. That's the world to me all the time because I can't connect anything. I can't make sense of anything. And so you just feel stupid the whole time. So
that's really overwhelming.
Having somebody else say there's something else going on is nice, really. I quite liked it, yeah.
Bit of a relief. I tell you what, I totally know what you're saying about, because I see people all the time quoting huge quotes from books and films and I'm like, I'll watch a film and at the end, I'll be able to tell you if I liked it or not. Did you enjoy it? Yeah, I did enjoy it. What was it about? I can't really remember.
That's all that's important, really. Did you like it? Yes.
I enjoyed it. Yeah,
exactly.
I couldn't quote.
I mean, it's the biggest frustration for me.
Really?
I found it. I mean, I don't mind this thing of whatever it is. I don't mind. I've lived from a young age. I've developed techniques. They're shit boring techniques, and they're tedious, and they're like, so I repeat lists over and over all day. So I'll probably spend how many hours of every day? Probably anywhere between 1 hour and 5-6 hours.
And I only get the peak of it, don't I? Like
I don't do it out loud.
Yes, he does.
Not often.
No, you do.
Not often.
Like you corner me and tell me lists.
I will corner her.
Really?
I'll get her in a corner.
We were once in.
Right, listen to this list.
Where were we?
Now listen to it again.
We were abroad once, and Rhod had cornered me in a shop and was listing.
In Iceland in a shop.
Was it Iceland?
Yeah.
He was listing his jackets to me, like France? All of his jackets at home, like all of them.
What?
And then when it looked like my attention was waning, he'd start again. And this shop assistant came up to us and went, "Do you need any help?" And I went, yes, please. And give me a minute.
Yeah. Can I look at your jackets?
Yeah, we're looking for a jacket, and he just has to go through the ones we have at home.
Yeah, but I mean that's part of it. But it's not so. So I will list.
But they're in your head, aren't they?
Over and over again. So I'll go through a list of points, say like points, thoughts. and then there may be 10 bullet points, and then I'll go through them again, the same 10 bullet points, and then maybe I'll synthesize them down to 8, and then I'll go through all the 8 again, and then remind myself about the 2 that have dropped out and why they've been synthesized to 8, and then I might get it down and go through it again and again and again for another couple of hours, and then go again. So it is essentially what I'm trying to do, and I've done it since I was a child, is I'm trying to keep my foot on that hose. So I'm trying to control something. It's my foot on the hose, is me just these thoughts are trying to stop my brain being like this hose, just squirting
control,
mentally
isn't
everywhere.
it? Do you think
Control,
that you would ever try and take medication?
No, I was having this conversation yesterday with Gareth.
Because there could be, I know it's difficult to find the exact right medication and everything, but what if a medication could actually just stop that?
I'm frightened of it.
Because you've never not done it.
I've never not done it. It works.
So what it would leave you to...
There are lots of
time to do other
things that irritate me about this and frustrate me and stuff, and feeling stupid, all those kind of things, but I have to deal with. But I worry about messing with myself. I'm 53. I'm all right. I'm happy. I'm on the whole. I'm all right. So I kind of subscribe to if it ain't. I mean, it is broke.
Yeah.
Bro, you know, I'm all right.
Totally.
I'm fine. You know, and
I think I'd worry that it would take the edge, because I antidepressants. I did that years ago, and for a brief period of time. But it just felt like the edges had been taken off. Everything was kind of smooth.
Yeah,
and
they say that, and I've never tried.
There was no kind of. I quite like the extremes.
And you love it.
Yeah.
Oh, do you? I quite like that.
I do like the extremes, but there was, when you get to a point where everything is so extreme all the time, and it's only one side of the extreme. It's not the good stuff.
Right.
That's when I've been on antidepressants before, and it just feels like you're just walking through life going, yeah, that's fine. Do you know what I mean? And stuff is happening around you and you're like, yeah, great, that's fine. I mean, you can't live like that.
No.
It's only when they're kicking in, and it feels weird. Like, it feels like you're coming up on E sometimes, even though if you're just making soup. Do you know what I mean? It was like, which I really enjoyed. This is great. This is going to be the best soup ever.
I'm off my nut.
Yeah. But
it doesn't come up on soup.
The stirring bit. But when it, I think, as a kind of stopgap, they're not for a long term. Well, no, sometimes they help long term, I suppose. But it's a stopgap to help you learn thoughts that you can't get to when it's really bad, so you learn new thoughts that help you get through, so then you can come off, and then you have more coping skills to deal with it. It's when you've painted yourself into a really dark corner and there's nothing you can do, your brain is in this kind of pattern. I find them really...
I quite like because I realised like that, I was kind of like, yeah, fine, everything's fine. There wasn't any extra sort of happiness, or there wasn't any sort of, like sometimes it's nice to go, you get a bit angry about something like why are you fucking doing that? There was like none of that. It was just carry on. Just you need, sometimes you need that.
You need to
extra.
it's like a motorway drive, and you need to get onto an A road, mate.
Yes. Or put on a really good mixtape. Like, you need motorways so boring, isn't it? If everything's just plain.
I can understand that. If everything's on an even keel, really. I mean, that's it's a positive phrase, isn't it? Everything's on an even keel, but I can imagine things can be on too even a keel for too long. Then it's.
But if you're in emotional swing back and forth thing, like oh my god, rage.
This is why we go on roller coasters and stuff, isn't it?
Yeah, but it's
we went to
control.
an amusement park and it was all just people standing in a queue and walking along slowly.
Just going round and round, not going up and down, just round and round.
But that's really control. That's really controlled, though. You wouldn't,
Huh?
It's if you're in a roller coaster, if you're in a fun fair every day.
And it's a shit analogy.
Trying to do things like tax. Do you know what I mean? Like, oh my god.
Maybe that's it. Maybe when you're going to do something like that, like if you're going to do your tax returns, then pop a couple of pills and you're all right with it. But if you did it all the time, because I remember seeing Rhod years ago when I was this is before I did comedy. I was a manager of Up the Creek in Maidstone, down in Kent, and I remember seeing you there.
Fucking horrible gig.
That's a terrible gig. But I remember way back then.
I think that was the least popular gig in the country amongst comedians.
Everyone hated it. It's gulag. They called it gulag. I think they were like doing like rock paper scissors to see who was going to go and do it rather than.
God.
Tell you how bad it was.
I only did it a couple of times, to be fair.
But I remember you doing it, and I remember back then you were quite kind of, your comedy was quite kind of almost a whisper. You were kind of very calm, and then later on, seeing you do, you know, like the famous bit about the baggage handle, you know, that baggage handle that wouldn't have worked if you were on antidepressants and tablets. You would have been fine. It would have been shit.
True.
Oh well, I've got this handle here. Anyway, never mind that.
That's so true. Oh well, what are you gonna do?
Ah well, yeah, well, you know, it happens, doesn't it? It happens. Okay, I got myself a new case. It's fine.
Yeah. I've never tried antidepressants. I'm very nervous about messing with my head.
You like being in control, don't you?
It's
and
hard
no
enough.
wonder, because you're trying to be in control all the time.
I'm trying to control this hose, trying to keep my foot on it.
I love being out of control. I love being out of control. I love it. And I will...
What are you taking antidepressants for then?
Well, because...
We'll just go with the...
No, I don't like
roller
the
coaster.
I don't like the rage.
No.
That's... I don't like that.
No, that's true. That's true.
You know? But, you know...
Yeah.
We suspect that Sian has...
ADHD.
Some kind of ADHD or something as well. That
Yeah.
you need to go and get it checked.
But it's hard to get it diagnosed.
It's not hard to get it diagnosed,
Isn't
really.
it?
No.
Well, I mean, you didn't. You haven't.
like-
You did a TV show and then...
Exactly. That's how easy it is. I wasn't even going to get diagnosed.
But I
When you
think
popped in to talk about shyness.
I think it's harder.
That's how
in
easy
women.
it is.
I think it's harder in women to get it diagnosed because
Might be harder.
because
Really?
women. Yeah, I think apparently like the symptoms are a bit different in women, and because of societal.
The symptoms are so many and so
They're so varied
and it's a
anyway,
spectrum.
from human to human.
So there is no easy.
But I think women as well have. I don't know. Maybe I don't know. I've been reading about it. They say that symptoms differ in women.
You've
and
got some of the
also-
key ones, no question about
I've
it.
definitely got.
Some of the main
in
ones that I
attempt.
know. I mean, I'm trying to read up on it. But reading is almost impossible for me. I mean, look at my Audible here at the moment. Scattered Minds: The Origins and Healing of Attention Deficit Disorder. I haven't finished that.
But who will?
I don't know.
Do you know what I mean?
I don't know. I mean, I can't finish it. I've got look at my library. This is the next one. Blah, blah, blah. These are. I mean, how many books have I got on the go at the moment? Here, I mean, look at this.
Yeah, I've definitely got something.
Healing ADD. I've got on the go at the moment. I'd forgotten I had that on the go. Healing ADD revised edition. Scattered Minds.
Mine is I find
14 books.
getting to
about
sleep-
4 of them on ADD.
I find getting to sleep really difficult. And you don't have a problem with that.
What are you talking about? What are you talking about? I don't have a problem with that. I've done half my TV career has been done on
when you're
absolutely
not
zero sleep.
But when you're not scared of something, like you fall asleep
Or
easily.
generally, I
Yes.
don't. Yeah, if I've
Yeah.
got something on my mind, that's when I'm terrible. Yeah.
Yes, I can't. I find it very difficult to fall asleep because my mind is so. I have to have books. I surround myself. My bed is just a little nest of books, colouring in books, everything like activities because I'm terrified of being bored. I can't be bored.
Your bed is like a fucking soft play area. Honestly, it's just like you're just cocooned in a
Yeah.
thing, a sea of shit,
Hobbies,
of books,
like a board game on the go,
Piled up.
letters.
Pens,
I can't.
It's only walk. It's like a generation game.
I can't be bored.
It's unbelievable.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, so
See,
we are going to look into.
I can't do that. I have to try and get as hard as I can to get order.
Do you think it's to do with women? It's that you've got different chemicals as well inside
Yeah.
you.
Oh
So
God,
that
yeah.
adds to it as well.
And what we were talking about before, the hormones. Hormones affect everything, and women's hormones are cyclical. Like every month, boom, boom, boom. Like whereas men's are more like, well, you're just like this throughout your entire life. Whereas we're like this, like plates, all the up, down, menopause, birth, whatever. It's crazy. And also, like societal norms. You know, we were really punished for being untidy. Like,
Yes.
you know, like little girls, you're not allowed to be. That is the worst thing you can do, is be untidy or
Well, it certainly worked with
dirty.
you. It certainly knocked that out of you. Jesus Christ.
There's a difference between untidy and dirty.
Yes.
Yeah. No, you're not dirty.
And I don't know what that is.
You're
No. I'm not dirty. I'm untidy.
No.
No, I'm chaos. It's like,
Chaos,
this
absolute
book
chaos.
that I started writing yesterday, and now I can't remember anything about it. You know, and that kind of. I'll start a scheme yesterday. I'll have started a business
I think
yesterday.
I'd be like that if I hadn't.
And then Today, nothing.
Got these techniques from when I was a kid.
I do have lists. I make loads of lists.
Oh my God, you lists.
Lists.
Post-it notes, sort of. I mean, I took almost all of them down yesterday because I was too embarrassed. those ones up the top, those were like all the way down there.
I do have lists.
Post-it note after post-it note.
It's like an acoustic version of Minority Report, just all the paper.
Oh, it is. It is an acoustic version. Honestly, read that when it goes. What does it say? Read post-it note. All right. So,
but it's an external version of your internal.
It is. I do it all in my head. I don't do any lists nor post-it notes.
That would drive me
list
nuts.
it over and over again, hours every day.
Do you know what I
should write a list,
find?
probably.
This is weird. The emotional one, because that's a symptom as well, isn't it? That you have heightened, like, sensitivity to emotion.
Very sensitive.
And
yeah.
rejection.
Can be.
Well, I've definitely got the emotional one.
Yeah.
So
certainly have.
No, but I've stopped listening to music. This is really weird. I've stopped listening to music because I find music, I used to love it when I was younger, just obsessed with music, but I find listening to certain music too emotional. I will get, if I put a certain song on and it makes me either remind me of the past, or makes me feel good, or makes me feel bad, my whole day can be derailed because I'm so in the song.
Yeah.
I'll forget what I'm doing. So I avoid music. It's safer just to be on the safe and narrow. And just kind of going, oh, I need to do this now. I'll forget to eat if I'm in a good song. And I don't think that's,
I don't know.
I can't listen to
normal.
sad music. If I listen to sad music, it'll ruin my day. Yeah, I can't listen to sad stuff. Yeah.
What's sad music? What kind of thing?
Just anything.
Everybody hurts sometimes.
You just find me swinging in the garage.
no way.
Oh, don't.
It's true though. Yeah, music derails me. And I don't,
same.
And I think it's only when I'm older, that's a coping mechanism of mine. I ignore that. I avoid music, which is such a I love music. It's one of the joys of life.
Yeah.
It is.
And I think if I had time, I would maybe make a mixtape.
If you had time.
No, if I haven't got time, all chaos. If
Rest
I had
off it, yeah.
time, I would make a mixtape of vanilla music that I could listen to that doesn't send me off the edge, makes me angry.
Why don't you just go on Apple Music and
Makes
look
me-
up shit music? They'll have a shit playlist.
That's not enjoyable. There
They've
must
got
be some songs that are
chill,
safe.
shit,
There'll be
know what I mean?
an
chill,
ADHD
workout, dog
list.
shit. Yeah.
Yes. Somebody make me an ADHD list, which is like fun and I can dance to it, but isn't emotion, isn't kind of, oh my God, this reminds me of that time, or this do you know what I mean? This makes
You
me
should
angry.
go and get it checked out, I think.
This makes me het up.
I think you should go and get it.
Yeah, well, I am
Go
going
and get
to.
it. Go and get it. Your brain investigated.
But the thing is, as well, with certain songs, obviously, because songs are like a diary, aren't they? And you hear a song and you go, oh yeah, I remember that when I was at school, and that reminds me, oh yeah, that's when I got dumped. You know, that's
Yeah.
So yeah, that's, I know what you mean. I can't handle rejection. I can't.
Yeah.
I don't ask people things because, like, asking you to do this, I had to get Paul to do it because I couldn't do it because
Yeah.
I couldn't handle you going no. And I'm like, they probably won't say no, but they might say no. And with that in mind, I can't. So Paul asks. I can't do it.
Yeah, I totally get that. You get that
I mean, I'm not on social media at all
because of that.
Because of that, really. That's never why I've never got on social media. I can't handle. I'm terrible with like criticism, rejection, anything like that. I'm not too bad with people I know and can engage with, but online especially, is why I can't.
See, I'm the
I can't deal
opposite.
with it at all. That's why I'm not.
I'm the opposite to you. I'm the opposite in that I will get really nervous about asking my best friend, like you were saying, Richard, to come to my wedding because I'm going, oh God, what if they can't make it? I'm going to feel awful, and then I'll feel bad for asking them. Do you know what I mean? And
Yeah, you assume everyone hates you.
okay.
You're partially
I'm the
right.
same.
Partially right.
I think everyone hates me, but online.
They all think I'm a paedophile.
I mean, that is again.
Online though, if it's strangers, I don't know where I've got this superpower from. I'm like, it's fine, don't worry about it. If they're nasty to me, I'm like, that's fine. They're probably having a bad day.
Well, that's why it was nice when we bumped into you in Lee. That's why it was nice when the conversation came.
Where
around
was it?
to
I
the
thought it was
podcast.
Southend.
Yeah, it's the same. Lee on Sea is kind of next. They're next to each other. The same sort of thing. Yeah,
Right.
but where you were was sort of Lee on Sea.
Right.
Yeah, and but it's got so the conversation naturally came around to this podcast, and you kind of yeah, that sounds good. Yeah, I'd like to do that, and it was nice. I didn't have to ask you, and then after that conversation, it kind of I just build it up in my head. I'm like, I can't ask. I can't ask.
It's crippling, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's really crippling. And you see other people getting ahead because they can ask anything to anyone, and you're like, oh God, I can't do that.
No.
I'm doing this program, do this Growing Pains program on Comedy Central, and that's tough. I sort of I work on it full time, because I love it. I'm a bit of a control freak, so that's what I'm doing at the moment. So I'm reading biogs and listening to podcasts of people and stuff like that. So the guests who are coming up, on a series, and I find it quite hard to hear about people who had hobbies and people who were interested in stuff and people who were into this and that because I'm sort of not capable of any of it.
Really?
I never was. So I never had any hobbies. Nothing whatsoever. There was nothing. I couldn't focus long enough to have a hobby or an interest or anything as a kid. So when I hear all these really interesting people talking about their interest in like teenage lives, always they're talking about, it makes me quite sad because I realised that I sort of missed out on and I still do, I suppose. I still miss out on interests and because I can't make sense of the world and my brain can't do it. It makes me quite sad. And the other thing is listening and people who are confident. My God. So I won't name them because they're coming up on the next series. But two women I've been researching this week, and both of them essentially said that when they were kids, they didn't know what they couldn't do. So there was nothing that they thought they couldn't do. They just thought anything we want to do, we'll give it a go. They're phenomenal. Yeah, there's no limitations. Their parents, that's what their parents had given them, is that they went, if I want to. When I'm 16, just leave school and go to France and open a business and stuff like this and start selling this, I'll do it. And then if I want to, this kind of thing where you go, I'll become an entrepreneur and when I'm 16 and do this and do that, and absolutely no sense of this is beyond me or I like. Whereas I grew up thinking I can't do anything, nothing at all, absolutely no confidence, no self-esteem, nothing. You can't do it. You nothing is for you. That's other people do that. Other people write songs. Other people could write a book. Other people can go and do that exciting, go to France and sell and become a business. But you just sit here, shut up.
But it does make you think, how much of it is nature or nurture. I think they go hand in hand sometimes. Somebody with limitations of nature, if you're in the right situation where people recognise it and go, right, okay, what can we do then? What are your strengths? Let's play to those. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Like, I love music, and I've always loved music, and I wanted to be in a band, but it never occurred to me that I could. Yeah. And no one around me said, "Yeah, you could be in a band." It was just, you're going to get a job. You're going to get a job, and that's it. That's all you're doing. Yeah. You're going to get a job, then you're going to meet someone, a woman, and then you're going to have kids.
A woman.
It was, a woman. And you have kids.
Yeah.
My God, being a band. Yeah, that was, not even, you might, if you said to me as a teenager that you could do stand-up comedy or you could be in a band or you could write a book or you could even that you could open your own business, fucking anything, you might as well have said to me, you can go, you'll fight, you'll walk to the moon, you'll fly to space, whatever, you'll be an astronaut. It was being in a band was as mad as that, no less mad.
Same. It's the same.
And yet so many people, I'm doing this Growing Pain series, I'm researching people and they're going, I was in a band at 40, I did this. And you're just like, where does this confidence come from in people? I had none. Nothing.
No, same.
Have you had somebody on who has the similar thing of I had nothing? Or have they? It's interesting, isn't it? Really. Because people who do tend to then make it and become known have had encouragement and blah blah. A lot, but then a lot of people, but some haven't. But it would, what I mean? That would be really interesting.
I haven't. It's only this series that I'm doing more research. I'm doing because I started earlier in the research team, so I'm doing a bit of research which I wouldn't normally do. So I haven't. It's very noticeable on this series that I'm.
Because some people get a fire because it's so bad. Some people are like, I'm getting out of here. You know what I mean? I'm not staying around here. This is awful. I
But
have
your
to
school
get
was
out
different
of
to
here.
mine because you could at least see people around you doing stuff. So
We were
your
lucky.
school, you had bands, you
Yeah.
had so
We were really lucky.
You at least could see that around you.
But there's
we didn't
something
even see it
in
around
the
us.
Welsh-speaking culture. There's something in a Welsh-speaking culture, even though, like, you know, for years and years we mocked it, and it was seen as naff because it was so tied to chapel and old-fashioned Welsh-speaking. You know what I mean? Quite traditional clog dancing. What the hell is that? You know, that kind of thing. Even though now I find it really cool and like, oh my God, my culture. You know, it was seen as like fuddy-duddy and weird compared to like Oasis. But it does give you this...
clog dancing is a bit fuddy-duddy compared to
but now I respect it. I'm like, yeah, clogs. Not everyone can do that. Do you know what I mean? And, it is
not
good.
the reason.
And they're so hot, the clog dancers.
Are they?
Yeah.
Are they?
Yeah, they really are. They can jump over a
All
handkerchief
of them.
really high up in wooden shoes. Yeah, they are all of them.
Listen to
Okay.
the words you've just said.
Oh, honest to God. Traditionally, in Welsh culture, the way you met a wife, you'd go to the pub and they'd all have competitions.
This is how we met.
This is how we met. And how you'd get the attention of a woman is you would get down on your... Have you ever seen them do it? They get down, so it's kind of like a squat, and then you
Yeah.
kind of kick your legs out alternatively whilst clapping. Over a,
yeah.
have you seen them do
Jesus
it?
Christ.
So it's to show how strong your thighs are and how good a lover you would be.
This is why Elis James has got those powerful legs.
Elis James's dad always used to say to him, "Why don't you just start clog dancing? Then you'll get all the girls."
See, Elis James, like he had a very, very sort of supportive thing. I can do anything kind of thing. I can imagine his dad saying to him, "Why don't you do it?" See,
No, I don't think that's really
what I'd
good
have had
supportive
was,
advice.
"Don't be ridiculous. Other people do clog dancing. You can't do that."
No, but what
Get back in
was
that
my
pool. Get your head
point?
under.
Yeah,
What was I
yeah.
talking about? Oh, that thing about
Foot back on your
having a fire in your belly and leaving. Because what was I talking about before then? Oh, Welsh culture. It's such a normal thing to perform in Welsh culture, even though you see it as kind of naff and awful. By the time I was 8, I had performed in front of 2,000 people on national TV singing, because everyone
Wow.
does. But you don't see it as weird. You see it as boring. You see it as, oh God, we have
Yeah.
to.
Yeah, it's like going to church.
It's like going to church.
Yeah,
but
right,
everyone
yeah.
does it, and it's totally normal. And being musical and being in a band is just part of it.
Yeah,
So
that's
it's-
Welsh language. See, we didn't have any of that.
You didn't speak Welsh,
in
did you?
the
So
English language side, no.
it was really, and we were going to festivals like Eisteddfods where the Super Furries were playing. So we were like,
Brilliant.
oh, they're really cool. So maybe
Yeah.
there is something in this.
Yeah,
And
I think around you culturally, you could, in your school and in your culture, you could see people doing exciting, interesting stuff that you could see
That was-
yourself doing. Whereas there were no bands.
It was
there was no
very
poets,
new,
There was no
though.
musicians. There was no
No,
comedians.
same,
There was no
same.
writers. There was nothing.
it was very new, though.
Yeah.
That
With us, you just went. I'm not going to even careers in school. You just went. Do you want to be in the police? Not really. Do you want to be in the army? Not really. They were like, next.
yeah.
Go work in the,
same.
it's the council, and I suppose, isn't it? Right, okay.
I just stopped going to school.
Fine.
I
Did
just
you?
stopped going. I just went, oh, I'm just not going to go anymore. And just got a job in a removal company. I just left.
yeah.
And no one
Did they
said
notice?
anything.
No.
That's mad, isn't it? Nobody said anything.
just went. No one noticed. No one cared.
Yeah.
It's just,
What?
Which removal company?
They were called Badgers Removals.
Badgers.
That's great.
Nice.
Yeah. But I was only there a couple of weeks. They never paid me.
Did you have that hairstyle then? That would have been great if you'd been Badger removals looking at that.
Imagine if I looked like this when I was 16.
What were you saying about the furries?
But the furries made. That's how I first became aware of like the Welsh speaking things.
Really?
They made it. They seemed to make it cool.
Yeah,
from
they
where
did.
I'm from.
They
on my side of
absolutely
things.
did.
Yeah.
They
Yeah.
absolutely did. They showed me that Welsh wasn't this ancient language that my grandparents spoke, which I love, obviously. But you could be playful in it. You could absolutely be natural in it. You could express yourself
You could be cool,
creatively.
I think, is
you
it?
could be cool
Yeah.
in it. And,
They did a whole album
oh,
of it.
Yeah,
didn't they?
Mung.
Is it-
It's one of the best
Mung,
albums
yeah.
I've ever heard. Oh, I love them. They're still my favourite band. And because they gave us all, me, Elle, all of our generation, like an identity to go, yeah, we can speak Welsh. And it's a good thing. It's like our brains
They
are...
made it cool for you to
We're
be Welsh.
bilingual.
young and
They
did
Welsh
make it
and-
cool, yeah.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
What a gift that was. I honestly think they saved a lot of us. They saved a lot of us from going, what are we going to do? You know? And then we went on
Nobody
a lot of...
saved us. We all just went there going, what are we going to do?
Yeah. We just wandered off doing badges removals.
But me and Elle always knew we would end up in comedy somehow. Like, we always knew we were best mates through big school. Big school. We used to sit next to each other.
That blows my mind that you always knew you would do comedy.
Not in the way that
I thought you.
No, but not in the way that you're
Which council
thinking.
department do you want? Concessionary travel tokens?
Not in the way
or do you want to
that-
be on refuse? Or planning, building regs? I mean, it just that's what you could be. You knew you were going to do comedy.
No,
I
not
never
in the
knew
way
that
that
either.
you're thinking. It's not in the. Not in the way that you're thinking. Not in the way that, like, public school people are like.
But you must have
it's
thought I
obviously.
can do that. Whereas that's the last in a million years. It would have been to me same as go to space. You'd be an astronaut. You might
We
as
were
well have said,
obsessed with. We were obsessed with Alan Partridge. We were obsessed with
well, I
Alan
enjoyed
Partridge.
Fawlty Towers, but I didn't think I'm the next John Cleese.
No, but that was different. Fawlty Towers was Oxbridge. They were Oxford. He was from Oxford.
Who?
He'd
He
been to
was,
Oxford.
yeah.
John Cleese and
Yeah,
them.
and then
Oh,
was it Oxford
right.
or Cambridge? I can't remember.
I don't know.
Cambridge maybe. And so what our heroes weren't, like, Rick Mail went to Manchester and Steve Coogan was from the Manchester scene, so we weren't as put off. I
I'm not
think.
saying John Cleese was my hero, mind you.
No, you know what I mean. And we just had this belief, and I guess me and Elle had each other, so we used
Where
to
does
make.
that belief come from?
I don't know.
where
Did
did
you
that
get
come
that
from?
belief from?
I guess
never
it's the
had that.
culture.
Fucking, we never had that. Me and Rich never had fucking belief. Where'd you get that?
It's the
I
culture
fell
of
into comedy.
performing.
I'm a comedian by mistake. I was a barman, and then it was Rob Rouse said, "I think you could do comedy." And this is a time when on the circuit you could live off it. And then someone else gave me some gigs. Silky gave me my first gigs at Blingado up in the valleys.
Yeah.
And then-
Oh, really?
And that was it. Yeah, it was my first proper gig was up in Blingado. So,
Oh,
kind of-
no.
and now all of a sudden I'm nearly 20 years in. You're like, fucking hell, how did that
Yeah, how
happen?
did I
It was
do
never-
this?
Never
How old were
believed
you?
at 11.
Belief.
No,
We're
I
having this
don't
out after this podcast is
don't
over. We're
think
having words
I've-
about this
I
fucking
think-
belief thing. Has
I
landed
don't
on
think
our
I've made
doorstep.
myself clear.
You have.
We-
You've made it all too clear.
No.
Me and Rich are not happy about
We
it.
used to perform like going to church.
Huh?
We used to.
Don't try and wriggle out of it now. Oh, fucking
Ellis
Here
did
we
his
go.
first comedy
Justin
gig
Bieber.
in the Royal Welsh. Do you know I think it was the Royal Welsh or the Eisteddfod. Ellis did his first comedy gig. But do you know what I mean?
How
It
old
was
was he?
just
8?
we were in school, 18.
I was 32.
Yeah,
Yeah, I was 32.
you need to
And
speak
even then, it
Welsh.
was only because somebody pushed me into it for 8 years.
But it's because we spoke Welsh and we came from a background
Yeah, I suppose so.
of competing. And so,
Yeah, you were used to being on a stage in front of an audience doing stuff, I
at
suppose.
6 years old on
Did that
my
give you that-
own.
Is that where that belief came from?
I have no adrenal glands. I don't get.
Do have a adrenal gland. I'm
I don't
exaggerating.
get-
You always.
I don't get nervous when on a massive stage
Oh,
in
right.
front of people.
Prince Andrew.
Huh?
We're back to the paedophile stuff again.
No, I don't get nervous on a big stage in front of people because I got it.
I remember
ripped
you in
out
Super
of
Clump
me.
in Edinburgh. You were shitting your pants. There was only 25 people in.
Nah,
Yes, you were.
we were sold out every day. What are you talking about?
It's Edinburgh. It's a small room, wasn't it? 80, 100 then. I'm being exaggerating for effect. But all I'm
Yes.
saying is it wasn't like thousands
Okay.
and you were nervous.
Yeah, but not in a different way.
You have got adrenal glands. I'm correcting that.
Okay. Okay.
I'm not
Maybe
a
it was-
doctor.
Oh, I can't
Maybe
get
it
my
was,
podcast. Okay.
you weren't nervous about performing in front of all those people. You just like it's like after a few years, after you've been doing it a few years, you're not nervous about doing it. You kind of just, I hope it goes well tonight. It's kind of maybe it was that.
I
Maybe I
think
hope the
it's
show
like-
goes well.
I hope it stops soon because it's boring.
What?
You know, like the Eisteddfod is like
Maybe you haven't got
it's
any
seen as
adrenal
a
glands,
chore. You know what I mean? It's seen as a hard work, not. Some people get on stage and think it's fun.
Not me.
You know what I mean?
Just to get it
That's-
done.
Yeah, just get it done. And I think if you're brought up in Welsh culture, you don't see that. You don't feel like that.
No. Well, you'll be pleased to hear that this is now done. You've
You've killed it.
No. This has been lovely. This is what this has
Sorry,
been.
love. I don't know
This
what
is
I'm talking
no.
about.
It's great. Because this is going out as our third birthday episode. We've been doing it 3 years now, and this is going to. We wanted to do something great to celebrate our third year, and we thought, what better way than to have you guys on?
Oh, love, that's kind.
That's
You
very
can
kind
cut
of you,
that
mate.
last bit out.
There you go. No, it's great.
Yeah, 'cause I can't
What
get
do you
my
mean?
point
Go on, try
across.
again.
Yeah, try again.
Try again. Put this point you're trying to get across.
I don't know. I forgot. Anyway,
I think I got what you meant.
yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What is it?
It's,
It's fine.
What is it, Rich? I tell you what, this is a neat end to a podcast. This is. I'm going to have to ask you off here. Then I'll have to ask you off here. And you'll have to explain to me off here what it is.
But I want to thank you both for coming on. It's been real pleasure. I'm really glad we did this. It's
Thanks,
been
love.
really great.
It's so
Thanks for
nice to
having
speak
us.
to you.
Oh, it's been a pleasure, mate.
It's been a real pleasure. Thank you so much for doing
much.
this.
No, absolute
Thank you.
pleasure. I am going to ask you about this adrenal gland story, though. I don't quite understand it.
It's just performing since you.
You can have another go.
Oh no, it's fine.
Come on.
No.
Do you think you just don't get the same kind of anxieties and
Greg Davis always says that he said he reckons he hasn't got any adrenaline glands. So he's sort of all adrenaline out, so he can't.
Greg said he nearly
What did he
crashed.
say?
No, he did crash a car. I can't remember. He got into a crash and he felt nothing. Like you could just walk away from.
So
it.
he felt that stand-up had killed his adrenal gland, his adrenaline.
Yeah, because if you feel it over and over and over, then there comes a point where you're like, don't feel anything anymore.
Is that what you mean?
Yeah. And Elis is the same. Elis can be like late for a gig and just go, sorry about that, and walk on.
Oh God, Elis.
I'm a bit like that. Yeah,
There's
I
no
do that. Yeah,
preamble.
I did it. I was with Birdie after the first lockdown. We did a gig in Banbury, and he was like, you know what Birdie's like. He was so on edge, and he was pacing up and down. And I was doing something online first, and I kind of finished that, and I ran through, and I went, "Oh, hello, mate. Sorry," and then just went straight on and just had a really nice time. And then Birdie was like, "What's wrong with you?" So I get it.
That's remarkable.
Yeah.
Yeah. See, I'm bouncing off the walls.
Yeah, you are
absolutely
about
bouncing off the walls. I can't. I remember Elis used to support me on tour, and I'd be in the wings like this with the microphone, just about to go. I was off stage, but I was making off stage announcement going, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome my wonderful support act, Elis. I was like, ladies and gentlemen, Elis would still be chatting about a fucking pie he'd had once or a book he'd read or whatever like that. And I'd be like, ladies and gentlemen, would you please, but he's still talking about it. I'm like,
but he'd be great.
And then he'll go, oh, and then just wander out, like still talking about the pie or whatever it was. And he'd wander on stage and have a great gig. But, God, I mean... I was having kittens in the wind. So what? It's just like, I don't know how you do that. Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah,
then? Is that what this adrenal gland thing?
I'm the same. I just wander up.
You're really nervous before a gig, aren't you?
No, it's weird. No, like I wouldn't think anything of singing in front of people. Or
that's a good way to finish. Go on now, then. Give us a song.
Come on, give us a song.
Come on, my little lark.
I mean, Wales is built on music. Wales is built on music. So that's what a brilliant way to.
Why don't you sing us out?
What would you like me to sing?
I know. Well, we've just said that we hope we meet again after this. What about We'll Meet Again? Your favourite?
We'll meet again.
Don't know
where. Don't know when.
But I know we'll meet again some sunny day. I didn't realise you were doing goodbyes. I thought you just cut off, you just tailed off in the middle of a sentence like your intros.
Like what?
Like his intros. Oh, you do finish conversations, do you? Or formally?
I just go off like goodbye.
You just fade out.
Fade out in the middle of this